What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Riva. It's very nice to meet you. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. And as I always say, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. It does not matter how you feel about this video. We all want to talk about it. Also, if you're not following my Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH_JORDON. And listen, I saw one video from the lead attorney's archive, and I'm back again in the archive, okay? If you guys did not know, all of the videos that I react to are always going to be in the description box down below, so you can always click and watch the original video, as well as they'll probably suggest, once you click on that video, other videos from this time period, so you can watch some of those live streams that are there. Just wanted to put that out there. But I'm really excited about this video because of the fact that the lead attorney is an attorney. And I saw this title and I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want to watch this video. So we're going to go ahead and watch it together. And I'm going to give you guys some of my feedback within the video.
Lead attorney here. Hope you guys are doing well. I've been a family law attorney for 19 years now, and I'm going to explain to you today why the child support system is unfair. Now, what does unfair mean? Does it mean that the child support system has to give atrocious results in every case? No. It simply means that the system is not based on behaving according to principles of equality and justice. That's the definition of unfair. And I'm going to demonstrate to you subscribers, to you members of the jury, that our child support system here in the United States is unfair. Now, to do this, it would be easy, so easy for me to cherry pick some crazy 1 in a million type of case. Or I could simply show how Dennis Rodman was ordered to pay $50,000 a month in child support. Puff Daddy was paying $55,000 a month, and Charlie Sheen was paying $110,000 a month for his children. I am not going to take the easy road and talk about celebrities. I'm going to use an everyday type case with an everyday type guy. A guy that did everything right. By the way, there is not one of you subscribers, not one of you members of the jury that cannot find yourselves in this type of situation. That's why I picked it. Now, how did I find this case? YouTube suggested it to me. They know I'm the lead attorney. They send me so many child support and divorce videos. They want me to keep making these things. I came across a video of a guy whose channel name is LA Drake US. We're just gonna call him LA. It's a child support update video. Looks like he filmed it in his car outside of his job. He works at the post office. Just a normal guy like you and me. And listen, at the end of his video, he asked for help. So I, the lead attorney, am gonna give him a few tips. You definitely wanna stick around for that. Now, we're gonna talk all about his circumstances, and we're gonna see if there's anything that you can learn from his situation. Guys, the video that LA made is pretty short. This is gonna take me about 6 minutes. If you don't have 6 minutes to learn about how the child support system is flawed, then you can click on one of these Beyonce videos. She can tell you all about how you should have put a ring on it. And let me tell you something else. This is an extreme...
The lead is funny. He's so funny. It's the editing for me.
Important video. It needs to be shown to every graduating senior in high school. It needs to be shown to every freshman in college. This video exposes the child support system for what it is.
I think this video is probably what needs to be circulating instead of, having somebody come in and talk to young men, being a woman from the opposite side. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of young men, like he just said, need to see is the issues and the problems that you can be in, having these babies all willy-nilly. Okay, it's very important to see the issues that can happen.
Reason that it is so important is because it can so easily happen to you. And guys, understand that this man is doing what I wish all of you men would do. He is telling his story. He is in this situation because no one told him what was waiting for him down the road. If you have child support issues, it's because no one told you either. That's why I'm making this video. That's the whole point of the channel. I want to be that old uncle that you never had at that barbecue who happens to be an attorney who's putting you on game. Now, if you hit the like button, YouTube will push this video out to young men.
So it's Godfather Kev, and Uncle Lead. Okay, so it's Uncle Lead.
the demographics on these videos. Don't feel the need to repost this video to Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. That's hard. Just hit the like button and let YouTube do all the work for you. Once you hit the like button, YouTube will know to send this video out to young men. We have got to get this message out. We need to feed these young men this information. Now, what have we got? What is LA's situation? He has 3 kids, 3 daughters. That's a handful. For his 3 daughters, he was paying child support. That's normal, right? Well, listen to what he did. He went to custody court. At the custody court, he fought for joint physical custody. And guess what? He won. Somehow he won. That's awesome. Man, this is generally what you need to be asking for if your circumstances allow it. In fact, I think that this should be the default in every case. Now, should every case always be joint physical custody? No. There are cases where fathers should not have it, and there are cases where mothers should not have it. Each case should be looked at on an individual basis. But in every case, the starting point should be 50-50. No child support. Each parent takes care of the children when they're at his or her home. The idea that mothers are naturally better parents than fathers is baseless, and it's demeaning to the huge role that fathers play in children's lives. To automatically give up—
that's a word by itself. That's a word by itself. People have definitely demeaned fathers to only be financial support systems or like a piggy bank, a bank. And there's so much more that they have to offer to their children, but a large portion of society just acts like it's all about money and that's it, and that they have nothing else to offer. They don't raise children. They don't instill morals in their children. That's important.
And visitation with his own children is outrageous. Luckily, there are states like Florida, like California, where LA is in, that are being more flexible. They're coming around. Come to Atlanta and try to get that 50-50 custody. Maybe our conservative judges will change in a decade or two, but for now, you can generally forget about it. Also, and here is a lead attorney legal lesson, notice that there's not just one justice system in the nation. The justice that you receive as a father will depend so much on the state that you're living in. Fathers get treated one way in Atlanta, another way in New York, another way in San Diego, and then another way in Miami. Think about that for a second. The access that you have to your own children can depend on what part of the country those children live in. It's amazing the arbitrary things that control some of the most important things of your life. But that's just food for thought. Getting back, we've got a great father who has fought for and won joint physical custody of his 3 daughters. What does that mean in terms of child support? It means that it's stopped. He's no longer paying. It's a done deal. He beat the child support system. So
see how I automatically started clapping and the claps came in? I'll be on time. Okay? I'll be on time.
Hey, lead attorney, what's going on? You said this video was about child support. This man's not even paying child support. Why are you making this video? Why are you saying that this video is so important? Yeah, I hear you. Let's see what's going on.
Okay, what's up, y'all? This is an update on my child support situation. I done went through custody court, and the conclusion was this. Child support stopped. I got joint legal, physical custody of my 3 daughters. Child support stopped. It did, and I kid you not, right after it stopped, the first chance my ex got to get back on welfare, cash aid, she did it. She told them people that I wasn't around. She had the kids and I wasn't around. Didn't even tell them that we had a custody agreement.
Uh-oh, what do we have here? A little welfare fraud. After the child support stops, the mother has much less income. Now she can't afford to live. So what does she do? Does she go out and get a job like you or me? No. She applies for government aid. Now, listen, members of the jury, there is nothing wrong with government aid. I have lived in a country with no government aid, and you do not want to live in a nation like that. This aid is a huge help, and life can be so rough, any one of us can find ourselves needing that helping hand. Don't ever look down on anyone on government aid. It's a blessing that it's there. What you can and should look down on, though, is the fraud that this lady—
yeah, it's not about, because I hear people talk about that negatively a lot, like, about government aid and stuff like that, and it's in place and it's there to really assist people who need it. The issue is when people start to misuse and abuse the system. That's when we have a lot of problems, and it looks like that's what this situation, I can guess that that's what this situation is going to end up being like right now.
Use to get the aid. Why lie? Tell the truth and let the government decide whether or not you qualify. But no, she didn't do that. She told the government that LA was not around, told the government that she had the kids. So what did the government do? Did they do their own investigation? Nope. They didn't even take the time to run her name through the system to see if she had been to court over those kids. If they had, they would have seen the whole custody case. They would have seen how LA had joint legal, joint physical custody of the children. They just took her word for it. Why would she lie? Now the government thinks that LA has abandoned his responsibilities as a father. So what do?
So I got a letter from child support saying that they was going to reopen the case on a certain day. I had to appear in court to talk to the judge about it.
Jesus. Oh yeah, the government's on the case now. They have issued him a citation saying that they are reopening the child support case. Right. That is, reopening the same child support case that they just closed. Remember, a judge had already ordered that he stop paying child support. The judge ordered that because he won joint custody of the children. Now they are going back to reopen it because they think he's not around. Now, throughout this video, you will see how LA makes...
If they're okay, you guys just gave us this joint custody thing, but because of one thing that this manipulative woman has said, now they got to be like, oh well, she said you're not around, so we got to see if you're around. And how can people prove that? How is that going to be something that can be proved unless you have like pictures that are dated? You know, I'm gonna pick up like how in the world do normal people who are just living life prove that they are around when they're not supposed to be keeping record because they already have that agreement? They don't think that they even have to do that because the court documents are stating that they have joint custody, but now they're going back to the same court to prove that they've been doing what the court said that they're allowed to do. That's crazy. That's crazy.
One great decision after another. First, he fights to get joint custody and wins. Then they tell him that they're going to reopen the case if he doesn't show up and explain why they shouldn't. Now, you are thinking that it's obvious that he should show up and fight the case. Well, you would be surprised at how many people ignore letters from the court requesting that they appear. They just ignore it, or they show up a month later because they didn't see the letter in the mail, or they got the dates all confused. They missed the hearing. But not our man LA. Bright and early, on time, he shows up to court to clear up the mistake. He's doing everything right.
I goes to court. She was there.
She was there. Let me jump in right quick. Listen, he had a child support case. They closed it because he got joint custody of his 3 daughters. Now the ex lied to get it reopened. But it's a pretty immature lie because there's a court order showing that LA's got joint custody of the kids. Right. So all LA has to do is show up and tell the judge about the custody order. Then the judge will reclose the child support case. It's easy. Case closed. So you say, lead attorney, he's not paying any child support anymore. What's the big deal? Why the video? I hear you. Let's see what happens.
I goes to court. She was there. And the judge was pretty much saying, what could I afford to pay? And I'm like, we have a joint custody, 50-50. And the judge was like, well, I'm not the original judge. I'm just sitting in. But based on what's going on today, I think about it and I make my decision, and you'll get it in writing.
All right, let me stop right here. Remember when I told you that you could get different...
So you mean to tell me that in this particular situation, because of the fact that she over there crying, talking about she can't afford to do this and she can't afford to do that, he has to now be responsible for her living situation when his responsibility is the children? Because if the children come to stay with him, he can provide for them. So why doesn't she just give up all of her responsibility and give him the children full time? Why doesn't she just do that? Why should he have to be responsible for her financial situation? That don't make no sense.
Treatment based on which state you live in. You will also get different treatment based on the different judges within your state. You members of the jury might think that the outcome of the most important case of your life will not depend on who sits in a particular chair that day. Every single attorney knows different. In fact, attorneys often fight and scheme to try to get their case in front of a particular judge. We have all done it. It's so important. Now, LA tells this judge that it's all a misunderstanding. It's really a fraud. But There's a court order saying that he's got 50-50 custody of his 3 daughters. What does the judge say? She's like, I don't know about all that.
I'm not the original judge. I'm just sitting in.
All I want to know is, how much can you afford to pay?
And the judge was pretty much saying, what could I afford to pay?
My question is, why don't you know about the custody order? You're a judge in the system where the custody order was issued. The file is online. Check the file. It's right there. The judge won't do it. Why not? Because even though it's the same system, there are different parts within the system. They make it all separate to confuse you. There's child support and there's custody. And even though they're linked, they separate them out. So even though he has an order saying that he has joint custody, the judge does not want to look at it. Are you seeing how this works? But whatever, you know our man out.
Because I'm in the custody section, so I don't have nothing to do with the child support section. So this is something that's completely different. So you're gonna have to talk to them about that. But since we here talking about money, that's crazy.
He came prepared. He showed up to court with his paperwork, with the custody order. He gave it to the judge so she could read it. He explains to the judge about the custody order, even though she doesn't want to look at it.
So I explained to the judge, we went through all this custody thing. I brought the custody order and all that, gave her the custody order. And I'm like, Your Honor, I do what I'm supposed to do with my daughters. Right. I'm a father to my kids.
Right.
They know me. It's not like I don't see them, I don't have them. Right. I'm like, we spend our time together. So I told the judge, and I'm like, Your Honor, it ain't like I'm not doing my part.
Right.
And the judge like, yeah, whatever. Like she really didn't want to hear what I was saying.
And the judge says, fine, she'll send him her ruling in the mail.
And then I'm like, Your Honor, my ex said that she's working. How could she be working and get cash aid? You can't work and get cash aid. And the judge was like, well, I looked into that. She's not working. She's taking the classes that DPSS require her to take. And I'm like, well, she told me she was work. She's like, well, you have to take that up with custody. I'm like, all right, okay, whatever.
Send you to a different department.
I looked into that. Did you hear that?
The judge was like, well, I looked into that. She's not working. She's taking the classes that DPSS require her to take.
The same judge that said that she doesn't know about the custody case because she's just sitting in is the judge that's now saying that she's looked into the classes that the mother's taking. Why is that? Because if the mother's taking classes, then she might need some help. You see what's going on?
I tell the judge, I said, Your Honor, I've been knowing this girl 10 years. She never had or tried to get a job. I said she's well enough and able enough to work. She just won't do it. And I was like, if we can...
And he works for the post office. Like, he have a good job. He has a good job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he stick with the post office and stuff like that. He's obviously, you know, not a millionaire, but he can definitely support himself and his children. So, this is horrible. And why is it that some, like, a lot of these situations, it's like good daddies have to suffer for situations that they're not even doing anything wrong. They're there to support their children. They're being, you know, the fact that I feel like it should be taken into account that the fact that he even went there to get joint custody, that's a big deal.
You to provide her with a free way out, she never will go look for a job. And right. The judge was just like, didn't want to hear what I was saying.
Now, do you see what LA is doing? Let me give you another quick lead attorney legal lesson. When lawyers are in court talking to judges, talking to you members of the jury, what we are constantly doing while we're talking is we're taking your temperature. We're reading your body language. Right. We need to know if you agree or disagree with what we're saying. Right. If you're on our side, then we can just shut up. But if we feel that you're not on our side yet, then we need to keep talking. We need to keep going. We need to keep making different arguments to convince you that we're right. LA is taking the temperature of the room, and he's noticed that things might not be going in his favor. So what does he do? He makes an excellent policy argument.
Your Honor, I've been knowing this girl 10 years. She never had or tried to get a job. I said she's well enough and able enough to work. She just won't do it. If we continue to provide her with a free way out, she never will go look for a job.
He's talking from you know, the government's best interest at heart, you know, like trying to say, hey, like there's people out there that really need it. She don't need it, and you're coddling her, and she shouldn't be coddled. She needs, to have some pressure on her.
Saying, listen, this lady has not worked in the past decade. She can work, but she won't work. If she gets more handouts, she will never look for a job. In fact, the whole reason that they're in court is because the child support stopped in the first place, and she applied for government aid instead of applying for a job. The arguments that this man is making are the same arguments that attorneys would make. This is fantastic to see.
And the crazy thing is, the judge asked me, how do I contribute when my daughters is with her?
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, well, Your Honor, that's a two-way question, because how does she contribute when my daughters is with me? And she's like, that's not what I asked you. So I said, I contribute by calling my daughters, speaking to them frequently, And she was like, okay. But anyway.
Listen, sometimes the judge will ask you a question that lets you know the whole case is over. The whole case. This is one of those questions. Yeah. When I heard him say this, guys, as an attorney who's been in and out of courtrooms for the last 19 years, I knew that it was over. Yeah. And this is what you get. He has joint physical custody of his children. And the judge asked him how he contributes to his ex's home when his children are over there. It doesn't make any sense. These judges take advantage of you. Go to hearings where there are no attorneys and see how these judges speak to you. It is clear to me that he's about to be railroaded.
So I said, I contribute by calling my daughter, speaking to him frequently.
That's a perfect response. Perfect. Everything he said is lead attorney approved.
Like a month later, I get a letter in the mail. They reopened the child support case. They was going to start garnishing my wages immediately.
There you go.
$600 every month.
What? Guys, I don't know what to say. If you are a man and if you have kids, this could absolutely be you. 100%. Guys, this is a normal case. That's the worst thing about it. This isn't a case where some judge went crazy. This is not a case where you can point to LA and said he did all of these things wrong. This is what happens. I've been seeing this for almost 20 years. This is it. Guys, you cannot tell me that there is a place for this. The reason that this video resonated with me is because I see it. I see it all the time.
I'm at a loss for words. I can't even lie to you guys. I'm really at a loss for words because why didn't the judges say, you know what? Well, maybe, you're not fit to take care of the kids, so they need to live with their father 100% of the time. Like, it was just solely on how a single person felt that day that now, he was just free. Now immediately you're gonna have to do this for them because of this situation. And it's horrible. It's horrible. And a lot of these women are just so vindictive. So vindictive. And it's so funny because in this situation, they got into, some kind of something because of, the mom, but some of these women, they find themselves in these situations when they're trying to be manipulative as well. And then they understand how the men feel, right? When women have to pay alimony, when women have to pay child support, that's when they start to understand how the men feel, when the roles are reversed, when she ends up making more money than he makes, and then the roles are reversed. Then that's when they start to understand how the men feel.
I am sick of it. That's why I'm using time out of my life to make a video about it. This video is so important to me because you need to know what is happening in courts all over the nation. You point to one thing that this man did wrong to deserve to be in this situation. Point to one. And if he doesn't deserve this, then why do we have a system that puts him in these circumstances? And the point is, it's not just him. That's the whole point of this video. It's thousands and thousands of men each and every year.
So I'm like, this about a bitch. Now, keep in mind, this was in March. I called the worker, the caseworker, the case manager. Can't get back in court. They're not seeing no cases right now. They'll let me know. So I filed F-300 paper and I think F-355 to modify my custody order. They sent me a letter with a court date. I think it was in April something. Then before the court date, I get another letter saying that they was postponing it till July. I get another letter saying that they only send certain court cases. In my matter, it wouldn't be seen until further notice.
He filed to reopen his case in March, but you remember what happened in March of last year, right? You remember what was going on in the nation. All the courthouses were closed down, and that's not child support's fault. The courts should have closed. No one knew what was going on at the time. It was crazy. So he refiles, but he can't get back into court because it's closed down, and that's reasonable. That's just bad luck.
So I call a court. I speak to somebody, and the lady said that they wasn't seeing because of whatever. And I'm like, then when will I be able? She was like, our website will update once we able to take court cases in. In the meantime, you would have to have a re-subpoena, and you would have to pay the fees and file again. And I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't even got seen for the first fees I just paid. She's like, well, you're going to have to pay the fees over refile and re-subpoena her. And I'm like, but my services wasn't met. The first time I paid for everything and I subpoenaed her. But anyway, didn't get nowhere.
Say, do you hear this? Are you listening to this? His court case keeps getting rescheduled, even though he's paid all of the fees because of the court closures. Fine, that's understandable. But now they're telling him that he needs to refile and repay the fees all over again.
But
this is completely unacceptable. Members of the jury, let me explain something to you. You're walking down the street and you get mugged. You'll get a letter from the courthouse telling you to show up to court. Your girl will say, hey, you got a letter from the courthouse. You're all, well, what's it say? She says, well, it says that you have to show up to testify against the guy who mugged you. You say, well, where do I show up? She says, well, the courthouse. Now, I have a question for you. Why do you have to show up at the courthouse? You have to show up at the courthouse because that's where the guy that mugged you will stand trial. The courthouse is where you will get justice. In the case with LA, though, he was mugged by the courthouse. The courthouse itself stole that man's money. They have a record of him paying. They have the file. They say, nope, that money's gone. File again. This is outrageous. This man was lied on to get him back.
That was a good analogy. That's funny.
Court, the judge reopened the case based on that lie, and now the courthouse itself is stealing his money. How many times does a man need to get victimized? Do you not see this? Listen, no one cares. What if, during what happened last year, LA had lost his job? Now he can't pay the $600 in child support. Then what? Oh, they suspend his license. California puts a 10% interest on the child support debt. They put him in jail. Take that man's freedom away. And for what? And, I mean, if you really just want to take it there, if he loses his job based on what was going around in the nation and he can't pay his child support, they're going to take his stimulus check.
And the thing is, girl, if they do all of this stuff, you really ain't going to have no help. What kind of help are you going to have? Because he's not going to be able to be out there to help you and to assist you anyway. That's horrible.
But the stimulus checks were to help the people who lost their jobs based on what was going around in the nation, and now he can't get it. Do you see how they're coming after you every chance that they get? And let me say this, talking about the stimulus checks. When people say that...
Guys, listen. Sorry, I have a piece of hair in my face. Guys, listen. I can't watch this video anymore. You know the link will be in the description box so you guys can go watch the full video. There's about 10 minutes left. I can't watch it anymore because it's just so heartbreaking. The title of this video is perfect because it's very, very heartbreaking. Like, he's doing all of the good things. And there's so many people out there who are not doing the right things. But the women don't choose to go after them. A lot of these times that women do choose to do stuff like this is when a man is willing to assist, willing to do whatever he can. He's, stepping up to the plate. He's helping them out. He's this, he's that. But he doesn't feel the need, as he shouldn't, to be responsible for her. He has no attachment for her. But depending on who you get in front of and depending on who you talk to, they look at it as, well, she's the one who's with them. Okay, well then take them. Take them and give them to him so that he can just be responsible for them and nobody has to worry about anything. And then she can figure herself out until she's better fit to be in that position. I think that's just. I was waiting for that to come up in the conversation while he was there about, okay, well, since it's joint, maybe we need to talk about full because of this and because of that, because obviously you're not able to take care of them or whatever the case is. That would have made more sense to me, but that literally never came up in the conversation, which is crazy to me. That's so crazy to me. And a lot, as the lead said, a lot of our young men do need to be able to see this, because it's not just about, having a baby and this and this and that. No, you need to know about the repercussions that come along with it, the possibilities that can happen, when you're not married to someone, even if you are, but when you're just out here, sleeping around and having children, there's a lot of things that come with it. There's a lot of responsibilities that come with it. So, like I said, the link for the video is going to be in the description box below. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and again, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. Please, guys, leave your comments in the comment section down below. I genuinely want to know what you guys feel about this whole story. It's so messed up, and I wish the lead would find out what happened with him now, or what's going on with him now, and the state of his life right now, since it looks like it was like about a year ago, to see what he's going through right now. I would love to hear the follow up to that. So like I said, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah! Love you.